Hello, hello. Welcome to the Anything More, Anything Goes. My name is Low Energy Miguel today, and I'm joined by, what's your name, ghosty figure?
Pedro Pascal. Zaddy. I'm confident as a motherfucker today. How you doing?
Today's one of the rare occasions that the podcast is very frustrating. Not because of like the podcast itself, but it's like when technology is meant to do one thing and it doesn't do the one thing, and it won't be like, oh, I'm not doing it because of this. You're like,
No, you know it's really funny.
That's it.
I'm sure you're doing like some type of visual cue, but I couldn't see it at first. So
no. It's I'm just. You ever see? I think Marquez did like an interview a couple weeks ago with somebody where he was like, one of the biggest things in my life that frustrates me the most is when tech just doesn't do what it's supposed to do, and I've never related to anything more. Like continuity cameras, like, hey man, plug me in, and I'll work. You're like, okay, I plug you in, and it's like, never mind. And you're like, is there a reason? It's like, no.
I don't want to mesh today.
I'm gonna make sure. Because this is how it'll go. Randomly during the show, my phone will be like, oh, do you want to use me as a camera? And then I'll make sure to show it and yell at the phone and
it's kind of like, it's kind of like when a little kid comes up to you and you don't want them to bother you. So like you kind of ignore them enough just so they don't bother you. But then the minute you start doing shit, they're like, hey, can I show you something? I'm like,
you're like, no.
Turn to Homer Simpson and say, go fucking don't. Forgot to add an article, but I was going to have the worst fucking transition into a fucking Florida man story, but I'll just speak it verbatim. Disney is suing the state of Florida. That is the Florida man story of the day. I'm gonna drop it for you, see.
Disney sues DeSantis. Is it the New York Times?
Yeah, or CBS, whatever. You could do that.
Whatever.
But anyway, yeah. So
why are they asking me about a subscription? What is this?
You stupid. Oh my god, it's okay.
I don't want to do anything with the New York Times.
I got
see subscription options.
I got the CBS right here. Hold on, let me pop it into the.
Thanks, man. So
we're so prepared today. Anyway,
so we're having just a really bad time. Oh, there he is, Mr. Ron DeSantis. Yes. What is he like? 1 for 100 in terms of the good policies he's put forth. Anyway, we don't talk politics here.
Man, I hate this motherfucker.
Thank God.
So to jump right in, right? Disney sues Ron DeSantis alleging he targeted the company for political reasons. It's very possible.
I can see it.
Because here's the thing.
I can see it.
Ron DeSantis, especially with Disney, has been pissing him off the past basically year in terms of messing with their districting rights and adjusting tax laws, so then they actually have to end up paying more taxes. So in a lot of ways, it's like, wow, big company getting fucked. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought something like that would happen?
But then it kind of extended further to other like zoning laws that they weren't allowed to do. And they feel as if Ron DeSantis is just trying to fucking get in the way of their, projects and future ideas, because I mean, they're always building new parks, new rides, and all this shit.
Yeah.
So a statement by them from one of their reps says a targeted campaign of the government retaliation orchestrated at every step by Governor Ron DeSantis as a punishment for Disney's protected speech now threatens Disney's business operation, jeopardizes its economic future in the region, and violates its constitutional rights. Now, the thing is, you got to know something about Disney.
Wait, did it say it violates Disney's constitutional rights?
Which is funny.
Like the mouse is a person?
Yeah, fucking Michael the Rat, right? Gets his own fucking county. Well, almost
Michael the Rat.
Fun fact, Disney actually tried to apply to have their own county and have their own legislature.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
That's where you get Celebration from. I don't know if you heard about that area when you were down here, but Celebration was supposed to be like Disney's first like owned town in the U.S.
Oh.
Ironically,
that's not scary.
A lot of rich old people live there, though. Very nice neighborhood. But anyway, yeah, Michael the Rat under fire.
Michael the Rat. Oh, where's Timmy? That's her favorite.
It's Michael the Rat. It's just crazy, man. Because for me, it's interesting as like a local now. I would consider myself somewhat of a local at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you've been on and off for a couple years.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see Michael beefing with Ron on policy legislation. But
Michael beefing with Ron. Oh my God.
But to be fair, I mean, like there's probably more to it that we don't understand, and
Oh yeah.
you have to also account for that, Disney's like a multi-billion-dollar company, so anything that gets in the way of their profit margin, especially with the parks down here, it's good. I mean, if I read somewhere correctly, Disney Plus doesn't even bring in the most revenue. Their movies don't bring in the most revenue. The thing
It's
that
the
makes them,
parks.
it's the parks because of the product that they sell. Like that's pure.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
sale,
you've been to Disney
you know?
World. We talked about this when we were there in January. It's
We were
just
talking about that in the gondola. Yeah.
you go to eat, and the next door is a store, and the next door to that is you eat, and next door to that is a store that looks the same as the first one, and then across the street is 3 more stores next to each other that all look the fucking same.
It's a big shopping mall. You know.
That's exactly
All-
that's it.
And the movies are the advertisement. Such is the genius, right?
Well,
But
they're making money.
They're making
Clearly, they're
damn
doing
money.
something right.
Curious to see how this goes, because then people are saying, "Oh, this is the end of Disney World and this and that." I don't think so. Actually, if anything, I think the
No.
next part from Walt Disney is going to be Florida, the park. So that is your fun little political story for the day. I don't want to get.
I'm
too
pretty
much
sure they're
into it,
building
but
another
I thought
park.
it was good to introduce it. They are.
I heard about something.
I believe. I'm not sure what. Well, Universal is. Well, they're building 2 new ones. They just finished up with the Super Mario one, but they're also building like another like Islands of Adventure, like where Islands of Adventure is like a mixture of like thrill rides and roller coasters. This new one that they're building is supposed to be purely just roller coasters. It should be interesting.
Oh, Reedy
Um,
Creek. That's what it is.
Yeah, there you go. Well, actually, I thought I did. I don't know. It was funny
Disney
because
Thrills.
fun fact to the podcast, I worked at Universal for like 2 weeks.
Oh, I remember that. That was funny.
And they were only,
You've had a bunch of weird jobs between Universal and Walmart.
yeah, this is the most normal job I've had.
Yeah.
So,
Well, welcome home.
Yeah. So, tell me about this Transformers movie, buddy.
Matt, there's a fucking Transformers movie coming next year.
Yeah.
And it's animated.
Why am I more hyped about this one than the trailer that came out today?
Oh, yeah. The trailer doesn't look very good.
We'll get to Rise
Well,
of the Beast in a
actually,
second.
yeah,
but
we'll get to it. But basically, from what I've heard, it is an animated movie about the origin of Megatron and Orion Pax, who's Optimus before he becomes Optimus Prime.
Mhm.
It's supposed to have a theatrical release, and if it does well, they want to plan a trilogy because something like this hasn't really been explored outside of the comics, really.
Yeah.
So I'm fucking here for it, dude. It's just more Transformers.
Hell yeah.
So nervous about this new movie, dude.
Are we talking about the new Transformers movie, the one that's coming out like in a month or two?
In a month or two, yeah. Well, Rise of the Beasts, right? They put out a new trailer today. I don't have it listed as news on here because I forgore.
You're for war.
But Rise of the Beasts, the trailer, honestly, right? That first trailer made me really nervous. The new trailer looks a lot better. It looks a lot more polished. Some of the CG just looks a little
very
spotty,
rough.
especially when it's like when it's one of the Transformers just kind of standing there and talking. It does a really weird zoom on like the head,
yeah,
and it's like kind of looks like a weird robot that's
I
moving.
don't. It's
Real scary.
It's weird, dude. And honestly,
Yeah,
I guess
I'm
'cause
here for it though.
if I'm not mistaken, I mean, I'm pretty sure this was like a pre-COVID production movie, and Transformers
pretty
movies
sure,
takes
yeah.
forever.
This was delayed
produce.
too.
Yeah.
It was
So
delayed,
then-
I think, like an entire year.
So there you go. I mean, we'll see though. I mean,
But you know what it does do?
It doesn't help that some reviewers are like saying that this is garbage.
bad it is.
but, Yeah.
It's an incoherent mess. You know what it does do though? I'm pretty sure that it does solidify that this is a reboot. Because right, if you remember, if you recall, I know you haven't rewatched Transformers movies yet, but in Transformers 5 The Last Night, in the ending, they go, "Hey, look, Unicron, the big planet that eats planets, that's Earth." And in the new trailer, they go, "Hey, look, guess who's coming to Earth to eat Earth? It's the big planet scary Unicron guy." So I think that means it's finally a reboot.
Yeah. I mean, plus
I don't know.
I mean, the whole series has needed a reboot for a while.
Yeah, it's a
They've tried the
clusterfuck.
little side tangents. I mean, like what, like a little Bumblebee movie.
But Bumblebee's good. Bumblebee's a really good movie.
It's not bad.
I'm pretty sure it's the best
Pretty
one.
alright. Like in terms of like a side, like a Transformers movie, it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid.
Exactly.
I like the
In terms of
design
like a movie.
I mean, the one thing I will say too, in both that movie and actually even in this trailer, I actually do like the design of Bumblebee. I do
He
appreciate.
looks really good. He does.
does, he
Optimus's face looks a little spotty.
Mhm.
He's I don't know if you've seen the memes, but he's got like DSL.
Yeah, he does. He's like,
It's weird. Homie's like you're like Optimus, put on your face shield.
You're
We don't
looking
want to
very-
see your fucking lips.
looking very
I don't-
quirky guy.
Optimus, you feeling quirky, guy?
Okay. So now that we're gonna start instigating, I have to go to my inspiration that died today. I'm a big instigator
jeez.
on the podcast, and I will say
Yes, you
my
are.
biggest inspiration was Jerry Springer, who unfortunately passed away at 79 today. Apparently, he died peacefully in his Chicago home in the suburbs. Those who don't, which I'd be surprised if you didn't know Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer
There's no
is
way you
like
don't know at least his name.
Jerry Springer, famous talk show host, and Cincinnati mayor, or former Cincinnati mayor. Very
He was the
interesting
mayor?
character because it's interesting. Yeah, because if you read up about his backstory, it's pretty interesting. Like he used to be like the super clean, squeaky clean politician and stuff like that. But once he got the daytime television, like he wanted to do something different because he actually had his first talk show was like kind of like, you know, typical like Oprah copy. But then he was like, oh, I got to do something different. Let's bring on trailer park trash and then like have pregnancy tests and make them fight and
Yeah.
shit.
You
And I will
are
say-
not the father.
So the thing is about Jerry Springer, like if you grew up in our area, in New Jersey, New York area, you knew that if you took any day from Monday through Friday, you skip school, you turn on CW11. CW11, best local
He was
channel
always
for
there.
local bullshit. That was the trio. You had Maury, you had
Yep.
Steve Wilkos guy, and then you had Jerry. But we all knew we wanted to see Jerry. Because all three of them had like, Maury had
They all basically did the same thing.
Maury had like the pregnancy thing going on. Like
You
Steve
are
Wilkos
not
had
the father.
Steve Wilkos had this thing where he just brought on like really like abusive couples that were like going at each other. Jerry Springer did both, and he did it phenomenally. Like those are the best days of taking a day off. But
Taking the day off, sitting daytime television's a fucking beast in itself.
it was a mixed bag, dude.
I don't even know.
Once
Like daytime television and like late night television from like 11 to 3 a.m. Wild.
completely crazy. And you know what? My thing was, it was a good day until like Ellen DeGeneres or Oprah came on. I'm like, all right, I'm good.
You're like, all right, I'm done. That's enough.
Back to Nickelodeon. Back to Cartoon
I'll just
Network.
hang out here until George Lopez comes on at 9, and then that'll be it.
Boom, boom, boom. But R.I.P. to a legendary Springer.
Rest in
Oh my
peace.
god. So
Oh,
upset.
what is this, dude? Oh, you
Was it-
added more stuff to the thing. I didn't see that. What is this?
Amber Heard appears in Aquaman 2 trailer amid campaign to remove her from the movie. What a
Are we still fucking talking
mess,
about
dude.
this?
Listen, man, it just came up. You can't be mad at me. It's crazy. So, yeah, Amber Heard is supposed to be in the next Aquaman movie with Jason Momoa. I don't know. I know it's Momoa, but I like to call him Mimosa. It's kind of funny. Jason Momoa reprising her role. Again, if you've not been living under a fucking rock, Heard has been labeled as a domestic abuser, ex-wife to Johnny Depp, and traded many allegations back and forth with Depp over the course of last year, making
Oh,
for
Jesus.
what was essentially one of the most viewed court cases in
Yeah.
American
And she
history
deservingly
since
lost.
like the O.J. Simpson case.
Exactly.
She did lost because she's a fucking abuser. Me and
That's
my
right.
homies hate Amber Heard.
Me and my
Go
homies
Johnny
hate
Depp.
Amber Heard.
Johnny Depp back to Caribbean, baby. Let's go.
I don't need that.
But that's
He can
crazy
do
to me
better.
because it's like, what is DC doing, bro? Because
Well,
between
this isn't surprising.
That's not
DC's been
surprising
all
at
over the
all.
place for a decade. Dude, I've heard news that the Snyderverse is apparently coming back and is
Oh.
getting revived somehow.
they gotta stop.
All of DC is a fucking mess right now, man. They don't even know what they're doing. I'm sure James got to sit there
well-
going, "What am I gonna do?" What
He's
am I
like,
gonna do?
well,
What
he
am I
just
gonna
had
do?"
to pick up the fucking pieces, man. Because my thing is like, how it's past that even. Like, like it's obviously a mess content wise, but even
Yeah.
more so, it's like you're picking up people with not the best reputation. I'm sure this Flash movie is going to do very well, which we'll get into our
Which is so surprising.
anticipated summer movies, but which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
But I
after
guess
the
sorry, you go.
after the year it changes that Ezra Miller's had, I'm surprised that. Honestly, dude, if I was James Gunn, I wouldn't have even taken that job.
He had a
Because like
vision.
I'm sure he's gonna do a lot of good when he finally gets into his like chapter 1 whatever. But first you got to get over the hurdle of Amber Heard, Ezra Miller. Ben Affleck, the Snyderverse. You have to fucking hurdle that first, and then be like, all right, now we're starting from scratch.
I think he wants his Favreau moment. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like take the studio and make it to something better. Which I personally am excited because, as we'll get into more, it's refreshing because to have all the ideas come from one studio. We need some new.
We need some fresh,
new but similar vibes. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Because let's
Vibes
face
that
facts.
work.
Superheroes always take influence from each other, but gotta
Yeah.
try some different vibes, some different aesthetics, some different directors, some different stories. But yeah, honestly, I will say I condemn that decision though to bring her back, honestly, and hopefully for what it is. I mean, I'm not gonna be one of those people that let it get in the way of the art because let's be honest, I was a Kanye fan, still a Kanye fan for 15 years now. So I'm not saying that Kanye's a great individual, but
you understand what it's like to be a fan of someone who's getting nothing but hate and is doing stupid shit.
Don't get me wrong. Like, it's funny. This man will literally say like some stupid shit about
He'll say the most anti-Semitic thing you've ever heard,
and then have like a leaked song of like this amazing sample beat and rap, and I'm like,
you'd be like, but he made graduation.
But then I guess that's but you can't say that about Amber Heard. But she made Aquaman. Like, does that sound good? No, because Aquaman was mid.
But she.
Well,
nah, man, Aquaman was mid as hell. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, nah.
It made $1 billion though.
Yeah, I don't know how, but it did.
It was fine.
But anyway, we'll definitely probably be catching this when it does eventually come out.
Oh, of course. I also heard this movie is borderline unwatchable too.
What else is new? Poor Jason Momoa too. I think he's a great character. Like as a person, a human being,
deserves so much more.
He needs. I'm gonna yell at his manager, bro. I know he. Because the thing is, a lot of times when I see him, especially when I saw the first Aquaman, like it wasn't even like really him. I think like he could do really well in a franchise like that, but the problem is just that, it's just the writing, man. The writing is so weak. The storyline is just so bad. But who knows, man? Maybe he can get redeemed
was
somehow.
fine.
It was alright.
I just hope he's just been riding off the high of Game of Thrones, or like being in most of a first season of Game of Thrones for the entirety of his career. They got to give him something more. I hope he's decent in Fast X. I hope he doesn't suck.
He looked interesting in it, to be honest. I think he played like it's kind of weird because he plays a cockier villain than I think we're used to. Yeah. Especially in a Fast franchise, but I think especially coming from him.
He's going to join the family.
He's going to join the familia.
That's what happens.
Onward.
Temura Morison.
Yahoo,
stop.
Boba Fett.
Why is Yahoo doing this to me?
Most notable in the Mandalorian series as well as the Book of Boba Fett. Has actually come clean about his disappointment for the recent treatment of Boba Fett, the character, within Star Wars, within the Mandalorian that was included within Disney Plus, and how he fears, like how unjustified and unrightful to like essentially like abuse the IP in a lot of ways. And it was interesting because he
the hell out of it.
He was honest, man, because like I think the first couple interviews, especially when Book of Boba Fett came out, because you got to promote
you're
the
waiting
show.
on the phone to ring and whatever. Yeah.
He said like, it's interesting to see where it went. Like I understand fans are concerned, but blah 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 this and that. Nah. He's like, no, fuck that shit.
Now he's like, fuck this. Disney basically took. He says exactly what we said. He's like, Disney took 2 of my episodes. They just made it about the Mandalorian and blah blah blah.
He said in an interview with comicbook.com, he said, well, that Mando guy stole a few chapters of my book. I'm sure this guy is ruining my show. But I couldn't say anything. I'm not the writer, so I have to bear it, I guess. So, like, it just kind of sucks because I think Boba really is a genuinely interesting character. And within his own right,
he's become fucking great.
Within his own right, he's truly like a Mandalorian for sure. Like, that deserves his own story. But at the end of the day, it's like, man, like, you made such a cool character a fucking mute. So stupid. But,
it's just... The thing that bothers me so much is they made this whole hype thing about him coming back in season 2 and all this stuff. And then, oh my God, it's going to lead off to his own show and all this stuff. And Disney, it kind of feels like Disney thinks that the entire Star Wars fandom is like a bunch of TikTok teenagers with the attention span of a toddler. where they're like, oh, you had Boba Fett, but clearly you must be tired of Boba Fett, so let's move on. He doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't matter. That's what it feels like.
Oh, you hear that thunderstorm? It's just wild.
Oh, jeez.
It's rain season back in Florida, but
Hooray!
I don't mind it. We've been needing. I like the rain, honestly. Unpopular opinion.
Hate the rain. Hate it.
I love watching. Well, when you have a porch to watch it on, it's actually kind of nice.
Whatever.
But
Old man.
hopefully the last thing I'll say about it is I hope Morison gets a bit better treatment, and I hope that they actually bring him back, but in a better way, especially that it was revealed that he's going to be in the Daisy Ridley movie with Star Wars, with her return coming soon.
Is he really?
It's a rumor, but I mean, I would hope so. It would make sense, though, so we'll see. I mean, the way that they're amalgamating everything, I would certainly hope so. So, but
I'm here for it. I want him to come back as Captain Rex or something, or like make an episode in the middle of Rebels when Rex is really old.
Yeah, that'd be fire. That'd be fire.
That's the whole thing that they're missing out on. This guy is what the clones are all based off of, and you're having him play one character.
Which is stupid. It's like there's so
Give
much.
him some more.
Don't make him like some robot that's just really good at fighting. And we just fucking duplicated him. Like, bro, like we're not control being him. We want to know more about him.
We want to know more. Give us some more.
Well, one more bit of news.
Dude, I saw this. Jack Harlow.
Yes, Jack Harlow.
I'm fucking here
Jack
for it.
Harlezy is revealing his third album, Jackman, actually tonight at midnight, which unfortunately I won't be able to listen to it till the morning because I gotta work early, but it's okay. I'm gonna probably bump it on the way to work tomorrow. I'm very excited. This came at a surprise because Come Home, the Kids Miss You, which was his second debut album, hasn't really had much time to live on its own, and it unfortunately has been getting like mixed to, well, I would say mixed to positive reviews. I don't know. It depends on how you look at it. Mostly positive, but a lot of mix. I think it's one of those things where the hardcore fans of hip hop are kind of degrading it, whereas in the mainstream audience, it did very well. I think it did like, we'll look up the first week sales, but I know
it was even Grammy nominated, right? I mean, he got snubbed for everything, but
he did. But I mean, he got the nod.
Nominations are still really good.
First week sales. I mean, listen, man. For his second album doing 113,000 first week.
That's great.
I can't hate on it. What did the first album get? I'm curious.
Honestly, I have the feeling that this is going to bomb.
I don't think it's gonna bomb. I think it probably might not get the sales.
I think it's gonna undersell the previous one, but I definitely think it's gonna.
That's what they all say.
That's just the vibe I get.
So his first debut album got 51,000 first week. So
makes sense.
That new one got 113,000. This one, I don't know. If I had to take my shot, let's just say I want to say 80,000 first week. I think that's my opinion.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now he's like
there's no promotion behind it, like nothing, man.
Yeah,
it kind of.
It's not even on like Apple Music or anything.
No, like he just announced this on Tuesday. So
yeah,
I mean,
you announced it on Tuesday, dude. I didn't hear about it until like a couple hours ago.
Yeah, he announced it like last night. Okay, so
okay.
Pee pee poo poo. I don't know, but yeah. I mean, I think it's also in prep with like a lot of other stuff that he's been coming out with. Like he's gonna
with the movie coming,
White Man Can't Jump, the sequel to the Woody Harrelson movie, which is absolute fire. So interesting to see. Probably be reviewing this in next week's episode, both of us for that matter.
Yes, we will.
So it should be a good time.
I'm excited.
Onward.
Oh,
so that wraps up entertainment news for the week. Let's move on to some gaming technology. What, the thunderstorm?
No, there was an ad playing in the beginning of this game, and it loud.
My ears are bleeding.
So this is a game. This is that game that looks too realistic, and people are freaking out.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it Unreal Engine 5?
I believe so. Yeah, Unreal Engine 5. It's excuse me. It's called Unrecorded. So essentially, it follows, at least from what I've gathered about this story, essentially it's like a cop story. Yeah. You're going on drug busts and stuff like that, and you're just, I guess, the way that you see the gameplay footage and like probably put it up on the screen is essentially like GoPro footage, and the movements are footage. Essentially like what do you call it, mocapped. So honestly, though, it's kind of crazy how they got the controls for it, too, because the way I'm seeing it, it's like you have to pay attention to, like, your gun, like, if it's jammed. all the little things that have to go around with that, like covering angles and stuff like that. It's like it doesn't really look like it's that forgiving with the shooting system. Like you have to look like you have
No,
pretty
not
good
at all.
aim, because of course there's sway, and even your character reacts to the stress of seeing people come about corners, so you have to anticipate that. It's just crazy.
Dude, this
man.
thing looks
And it's
crazy.
like,
How did we get here?
I don't know, but it's kind of scary because it's like it's kind of getting to that point, man. Getting to that point where like I feel like we say this like every time we reach a new peak, but it's just getting to that level. But right now I think
Oh my
it's
god,
like
I love the comment section too. It's like, can you imagine what horror games are gonna look like?
bruh.
Oh my
Well, you know
god.
what's really crazy? It kind of brings up this topic too, because it's like I was talking to my nephew a couple weeks ago, and like it's kind of interesting to see that, you know, we're 25, 24 years old, you know. I mean, we're not super old, but we're definitely a different generation, you know.
Yeah.
Dude, like their PlayStation is like the Oculus and stuff like that. You know,
That's
VR is like their thing now, man. If you look at what they're doing, it's coming,
I think that
man.
that certainly depends. VR has not taken off the way that people want
No,
it to.
it's not taking off the way that you want it to, but I think it's something that you can't ignore. Like VR and AR is like
Oh,
the
no,
next
definitely
wave in a
not.
lot of ways. It's just it's slowly becoming that next thing. You know, like it's they're like
I
it's
ride
sort of
on
like
the train. I
Nintendo
don't
in
agree.
'87. Okay.
I don't think VR is it's the buy-in price is still far too high for something like VR until you
Yeah.
get somewhere where it's a decently high quality for something that's $200-$300 instead of the $400, $500, $800 buy-in. It's never gonna get where they want it to. And then on top of that, to do a lot of the things you would want to do hypothetically, there's other gear that you would have to. It's just the buy-in for the entirety of the experience to be more than just, oh look, I have a screen in front of my face. It's continued to be too high.
That part I understand. Well, it's just the way I propose it, it's kind of like think about like back in the '80s, right? Nintendos were like way more expensive like than an Atari. The cartridges were like $90 a piece. You know, like the controllers were like probably about the same, close to 100. I understand what you're saying. Like the proprietary stuff, like right now, super expensive, and the only way they need to figure out a way quickly to downsize the pricing of everything.
Yeah, and that usually comes with time.
Yeah, so and then unfortunately that also proves a good point too, that you could have another competitor come in quicker to do that.
Exactly. But
And it's
that's the thing. Competition is what breeds the evolution of this technology. But then again, VR, they tried to do it in the 90s or the 80s with the Nintendo, and it failed horribly.
That shit was,
Not saying that we're, 30, 40 years later, not saying it's the same thing, but we've done this before.
that's true.
Wouldn't surprise me if history repeats itself.
Pee pee poo poo.
But then again, I'm just not on the VR train, so whatever.
That's fair. It's fair. It's fair. Well,
But the game looks wild.
it does. Like in VR, I'd want to see. I would probably poop my pants. Pee pee poo poo.
This isn't something I'd be able to play constantly. This is like you go to a friend's house, you try it for a few minutes, and you're like, oh wow, that's cool, but like,
because there's no like repetition to it. Like there's no like pattern to it saying like, okay, I gotta come back and do this time. Like with a game like a regular video game, it's like you pick up the controller. If it's like Call of Duty or something or Fortnite, like, oh, okay, it's the battle pass, gotta grind this out. Like the shit that we've been doing. It's not, but with this, it's like it's a little too, I would say, complex of an experience. It's not like something you can just jump into. So,
but that might just be our small squishy brains. Maybe
I
these
think-
kids, these younger kids nowadays, they can just handle it.
I mean, we just ain't got no time, man.
Yeah.
That's a different conversation for
I
another
don't even want
day.
to talk about time.
Google
onward.
Pixel Fold leaked video offers our first good look at the foldable in the.
This thing is going to be super cool. I was talking to Timmy about this the other day too, dude. It's so funny that I don't know if you remember, but this happens to Google every year. Like their phone leaks in the beginning of the year, even though it doesn't come out until October. But it's never like like the iPhone. Oh, here are some renders of what it possibly could look like, and then a couple months later, it's like, oh wait, no, here's updated renders. It looks a little different. The Pixel's always like, the phone comes out in October, and by March or April, somebody just has the phone. And they're like, oh, look at the new phone that comes out in 6 months. And Google either has to be like, no, that's not it. Or they post a photo and are like, yeah, here it is. You can have it in 6 months.
There you go.
It's just funny. But as a foldable, it looks nice. I think the bezels look a little big.
Why
But
kind of look
hopefully
like a
that will-
Microsoft Glass a little bit? Like
That's exactly.
stylistic.
Hold on. I got it. Where is it?
He's
I got
picking, the one with the crack.
It looks
Right.
like one of these.
Right in the crack.
Yep. It looks like a Surface. It's horribly similar too. Like those bezels are huge. The borders going around it and everything.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they don't, pull a. Google's been very smart when it comes to their price to performance in the last couple of years. I really hope they'll be like, oh, this is a $9.99 tablet foldable, which is like unheard of at this point. I really hope they don't come out and be like, look, our first foldable with our stock proprietary chip. It's going to cost you $17.99. Then you're like, Google, why would you make it in the first place?
It's like, please don't do this.
You're going to sell like 3 of them.
I don't know, man. I mean, you look at stuff like this, and I think we've been saying this since 2020. It's a lot of A/B testing when it comes to these products.
Yeah.
It's like, what works like with this? What works with that? Do consumers like this or that?
Yep.
And right now, it's like what we've been saying. It's just
Do it got iMessage?
Do it got
No?
iMessage? No.
If it don't, then I don't want it. That's right. I think that's the biggest shame is that Apple's never going to cave and make a foldable. I think they're just going to go straight into the AR thing and then just coast until the iPhone doesn't exist anymore.
Oh shit! I should have brought that article, and I saw that on Mac OS Leaks, bro. Well, I could bring it up now, but essentially, they actually had a patent for a developer's kit for an AR goggle, patented. So.
Oh yeah, that I saw. It's
Yeah.
it's just glasses.
Yeah,
It's one of Apple files hundreds of patents a year, and it's always funny when they leak because everybody freaks out. Like when there was a couple weeks ago where they were like, "Oh look, they're going to put a screen on AirPods." You're like, "That's just."
Well, a lot of people anticipate that their next developers conference that they're going to do that. Like they're going to, again, like propose it to developers and give it a higher price gap. So then not only do they cover the cost, but then, it obviously gives developers an insight to develop apps for it. Because I mean, at a certain point, at least from what I understand.
You're talking about the AirPods or the AR?
I'm talking AR.
Oh, dude, no, that's been leaked for like a year and a half. That's happening. It's called XROS. It's going to be crazy. It's going to cost $3,000. And supposedly it's going to be there one more thing in June.
Which would make 100% sense.
Yeah. It's also meant to be their first product, their first new category product, I think in almost 10 years since the Apple Watch.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple people that have tested it and have come out and been like, this is one of the greatest things I've ever used in my life.
Which is fantastic to hear because, as we've been saying, it's like,
something
I don't know,
new.
man. Apple's world class. Google is an innovator. 2 different people, but same concept.
Yeah, can't wait to see that pair of goggles that I'm just never going to buy because they cost $3,000.
Yeah. Unless you get them offhandedly, like broken or something. Just for the
Speaking of,
model's sake, Speaking
of new products,
Yeah.
our boy made a shoe.
Marquez. Fuck you doing, man? I love it.
It looks cool.
It's
Not for $190, but it looks cool.
Well, I think I told you that in text. It's like, this is, like, respectfully, right? But then again, I'm just talking style-wise. But here's the way I see it. I mean, listen, it's partnership. It's a brand.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of cool design cues going on because I watch a video and it's obvious to see that he took certain elements from other shoes that he particularly likes. Like, there's no doubt, there's no
It's a
denying
nice
it.
amalgamation of shoes that he likes.
I mean, to me, it just looked like, it obviously looks like a Jordan 1, like a Chicago style.
Yeah.
I think there's nice little touches. I think the tongue has with the signature and the shoe size is kind of nice. It's a little nifty.
Nice. I don't like that there's so much symbolism going on. Like you got the 251, you got the logos on the back. It feels like it's a little too much.
The soles look like cheese.
Oh my god.
It's a lot going on. I do agree with you. There's
a
lot going on. But from what he's described, I mean, they're supposed to be super comfortable. But I mean, again, it depends on the type of person you are with your shoes. For me, I'm a pretty minimalist guy. But that's also coming from someone that likes Balenciaga and Yeezy that he can't afford. So it's like, take your pick with it. But
bro, I side with Marquez. Wear your fucking shoes.
No, yeah. Like, I'm not talking about like not wearing the shoes. I'm just saying. I'm saying in terms of the design language.
Yeah.
Like in terms of design language, like I'm a more simplistic guy when it comes to those things. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you even see like the Balenciaga shoe, shit looks like a fucking sock on a sole. Like that shit's cool to me. That's just me personally.
Nah, that being said, man, I'm more function.
And but that's the thing that I'm harping on here, where I'm like, okay, the way he talked about it in the video, like he was really keen on the comfort of it, but having a decent style with it. And I think he's hit a good middle ground. The one thing I will say, it's a nice touch to have the Atom laces because that is a big problem, especially with like I got the Jordans, my first pair of Jordans for Christmas this year. And the one thing is, especially with the leather on those shoes, like it takes a really fucking long time to break them in, you know?
Yeah.
But to have that adjustability and comfort while having the good style, I'm here for it, you know? And even more so, it's like not really familiar with Adams as a company and their shoes.
No, me neither.
But hey,
I just wish they were a little cheaper.
yeah, if these were like $100, I'd actually consider it at least.
Exactly. Like I could warrant like 100, 120, whatever. Like then it'd be, oh yeah, man, it's a decent pair of shoes. I understand if it's going to cost a little bit, but it's like a $200 pair of shoes.
It's a lot.
I don't need it.
It's a lot. Speaking of things from a tech channel, but not really, The Verge has reported that Spotify's new design is part of TikTok, part Instagram, part YouTube. So yes, Spotify recently has rolled out an update for their homepage that essentially emulates a mixture of what it looks like to be stories in TikTok, where it's instant, recommended, full screen suggestions for music. Sounds familiar? It's fucking TikTok.
That's exactly what it is.
And it's hilarious to me.
Ugly, dude. But then again, you don't use Spotify, right? We're both on Apple Music.
No, I don't. I mean, I just like to keep up with it because I like to see what other companies are trying differently.
Oh, yeah. I just mean like neither of us are using this firsthand.
No, not. I've tried it from on a friend's phone, and it's. I never liked the stories function in Spotify anyway because that was actually way before this update. So now that they've included it like this, I mean, I've always said that Spotify is really good on the curation side of things. I think that's one thing that Apple's never. That I'll agree. Apple's never gotten that right because
Apple Music just needs a whole fucking revamp.
Because their thing is they don't promote playlist curators. They just make their own. Like they have their own taste makers, and that's cool. Yep. But like to be honest, like if you open the floodgate to other people and promote other like individuals' playlists, you create niche audiences. But that's just my opinion for the day on that. But back to the design language of this new some may call a little disorganized. Daniel Ike, CEO of Spotify, says that he hoped to have more audio creators on the platform, meaning that I'm assuming that he wants to actually have people make more content around music on Spotify. Not music, but like content around
around the music, yeah.
Which
because he just sees it as another revenue stream, man.
And I get it. I really do. Because if you look at it now, TikTok has its own charts that are more popular than Billboard at this point.
Yes, 100%.
People would, because the thing is, Billboard charts the money, but TikTok charts the popularity. Big difference. Spotify does a mixture of both, but they're trying to get in on TikTok's game and find the next thing.
I applaud the attempt. I applaud the ideas. I applaud trying to do all of this stuff. I get it. But don't do it. Leave it where it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, listen, like with a lot of this whole content style is new still. It's only been for 2 years that we've had this type of immediate, I guess what you'd call like doom scrolling esque technology. But
nothing like it in the world.
It's weird because it's like if it's like YouTube, right? Like YouTube, I would say I don't even go to my subscriptions tab anymore. The recommended's pretty good.
It is. So YouTube's algorithms are getting much better, much more
Spotify
curated.
did it something like that, I'm here for it because
as long as it's just music.
My important thing is this: keep the recently played tab, and if you're gonna recommend me shit from people that I like listening to, make sure it's something that I listen to, or at least something that I like. God. I'm not gonna guarantee everything's
like Pandora
a hit,
used to be.
Pandora.
You remember the days of living with Pandora before streaming services? Oh my God.
When I was fucking broke.
No, I just mean like Pandora's algorithm has always been trash.
Oh, dude, there's garbage, dude. Forget about it. I had that shit on my iPod before I figured out how to
pirate.
No, don't say that word. It's not
legally steal music. LimeWire.
Classic. I had
awesome.
Rocket MP3. That was classic.
What the fuck is it?
That was
okay.
Classic. Oh my God. Classic.
RAZR. Another RAZR phone.
Fucking
The Verge is just the place where we're getting everything. RAZR 2024. I don't know what they're calling it. Basically, you had the first RAZR. We were all like, "Oh my God, that's cool." And they were like, oh, look at the RAZR 5G. The screen's a little bigger. We're like, oh, yeah, okay. And then, I don't know if you know this, but there was a third RAZR phone that came out that was kind of just like the Galaxy Z Flip, only worse. And nobody talked about it. And it sold horribly.
I think
and it was too expensive. And now there's another one coming where they're just going to make the screen on the front really big because that apparently is what everybody wants.
Man. I don't know, man.
It's another instance of folding phones being really cool.
It's a nifty technology.
But I don't know. At the end of the day with these Android phones, bro, we always ask our one question.
Where's iMessage?
Do we got iMessage?
Do we got iMessage?
It don't? Never mind.
My thing is, does it have any specs? I mean, damn. Okay, front display is 3.5 inches. Nothing.
At this day and age, I'm sure it's going to have a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 Plus. It's going to have this screen with 120 hertz. It's going to have this really bright, like 4,000 nit, whatever. Comes out as soon as June 1st, supposedly.
I mean, I can't knock them because especially the first...
it looks pretty.
The first one that was a decent build quality. I think it was one of the more preferred ones that year that it came out. But
well, see, the problem is starting with the third one, they lost that reason that it was called the RAZR. Now it's just another folding clamshell phone. Initially, they were like, "Oh, look, it looks like the Thing, guys. Remember the Thing?" You lose that. You lose a lot of the point.
I just don't understand why it's still being pushed. Like, I get it. Don't get me wrong, because you don't know where it's gonna go. But it's like at the same token, it's like these phones just don't have the support. You're asking a lot of people to pay high amounts of money just for either to, like, I had this one lady at work. I'm not saying this is every case, but just an example. She spent like $1,600 on the phone. And then, not on a Motorola specifically. I think she had like a Z
that sounds like a Z Fold or something.
Yeah, and then a year later it broke because the LCD broke or cracked or something got inside of it. She doesn't know. But she just said she won't know. I said, I don't know.
That's still part of the problem.
It's a piece of garbage.
You're the one that bought a Samsung phone. What do you want me to say?
What do you want me to say? You know what isn't garbage?
It looks cool. What is it garbage?
Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Jedi Survivor. Just downloaded it this morning. Can't wait to play it. It is Thursday when we're recording this, so we haven't played it yet.
But we're going to review it next week. Well, if we don't finish it by then, we'll just have a decent first impression.
Exactly. At least a first impression, early review, like halfway review, whatever it is. I know I'm not going to have time to beat this game, but I can definitely find some time to play it, especially like Tuesday.
Yo. So, but we are excited. We just wanted to give a nod to it. We don't really have much to say because we're kind of reserving our opinions for it. But we just wanted to let the people know it's out. Make sure to go play it.
I haven't seen any story leaks. I haven't seen anything. The only thing I do know, and that was revealed in the trailers, is you remember in the announcement trailer, there was that Jedi that was like frozen in a capsule or whatever?
In the trailer? Yeah.
It was like the initial trailer from like a year ago.
Yeah.
Apparently, that guy is from the High Republic, which if you remember, is Disney's way of going, oh, so you remember, right, you have the Old Republic, and then thousands of years later, there's like the New Republic, or not the New Republic, the Republic, the prequels. In the middle of there is the High Republic, where the Jedi were at their peak, and Yoda's a young man, and he's doing all the flips and shit. Apparently that guy's from there. So Hobie's been frozen for a couple hundred years.
What if they give Yoda hair in the High Republic?
I'm
just give him like a toupee or some shit.
I know I have the photo here.
I'm sure he had like brown hair or some shit. Bro, that's just a weird concept to me.
Well, we just gotta.
Well, I'm gonna see if it's on stream. I'm waiting for. Oh my god, that's him that's like as a young man.
Yeah,
he's very dashing, I must say.
Yoda, you do look very dashing to me,
sir. Very dashing, sir.
He's still got the cane and everything.
Bro, he's fine.
I think he's just like not an old man. He's just like. He's probably in his 50s or 60s, but he's like that weird 50-year-old man that still does like 10-hour-long planking and runs marathons and can somehow bench 250.
I'm like, how do you do it? Well, you know.
He's like, I had my spinach when I was younger, and I never smoked a cigarette in my life. I just ate my cigarettes.
Chocolate 2 cigarettes every hour, 2 hours.
Oh my god.
Excited.
But the game looks great. I downloaded it today. 140 gigs? I don't know how much it was for you.
It's probably gonna be like half that for Series S, but hey, we vibe it.
I'm fine with it, dude. I'll delete whatever the hell I have to delete to play that game.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
No.
Let's do the big old switch.
What you?
Music news, music reviews, and
Yeah, boy. Rise and Fall, Raging Grace.
so I got to be honest with my reviews this week. Not that I was slacking, but like we haven't really watched movies this week. I've been busy with work, fucking whatever. But I did make sure to have a couple like legacy reviews.
Mm-hmm.
First one, Rise and Fall, Raging Grace. I think this is easily the best Offspring album there is in terms of overall quality. A lot of the Offspring's discography, you've got a couple good songs here, a couple good songs there, and then on the whole, it's like, oh, this is kind of an incohesive mess. Love them, but
It's what's
consistent
funny about
albums
this album cover is that it looks like it was made in like a cheap Photoshop editor.
it does.
But I mean,
But it feels very 2008, so it's fine.
I mean,
I
you
just
have
gotta say,
tracks
man,
like "You're
like-
Gonna Go Far, Kid." I mean, come on, dude. That
Nah,
shit's-
dude. Honestly, to me, this is one of those albums that front to back is phenomenal. This is like a summer album to me. Half Truism, I call my my funeral song. Where when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh, this is the song that I'm going to sing at my friends' funerals when I'm like 80." I won't be able to hit the notes, but I'll be like, "This is the vibe." It's not time for bed yet. We're almost there. Trusted You's great. You're going to go far, kid. Hammerhead, a lot like me, hits a little too much. Christy, Are You Doing Okay? Feels kind of like you went to 2004, brought an acoustic guitar with you, and just handed someone a microphone. But it's
Yeah.
still very nice. Overall,
Sounds
I
like
give
the
this album a
intro to, like, a
solid,
teen
like,
movie.
exactly. That's exactly what it is. You watch the music video, that's all it is. They're just subject matter. Very good. Talking about suicide and self-harm, whatever. But the video feels like a product of its time.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 album. Very good. I follow up this one with their most recent album, Let the Bad Times Roll. This is their, like a post-COVID, COVID-inspired, whatever, 2021. On the whole, not as solid front to back, but still a lot of really good cuts. Top songs from this have to be the title track. Coming for You.
He
Not-
rough.
doesn't have to-
album, dude.
Doesn't have to do what you think it is. He sounds great on this album. He is one of the few artists that I think sounded horrible live, and over time, as he's aged, has gotten much better and much more proficient in hitting the notes that he's supposed to hit.
That's
We
true.
saw him live at Warped Tour like 4 years ago.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, when it was in Atlantic City. That was one of the few bands that we stayed to see. Top tier, very very good. Played all the songs I wanted. The best song on the album easily though is We Don't Have Sex Anymore. Oh, you could go to track 13 that I'm not going to try to butcher. It's the same song but in French.
Where's the
Sure.
There you go. There you go.
Good job, Matt.
Thank you. That's like French class in high school.
It's like a 7 out of 10 album, maybe a 6. It's a very good vibe, but it's one of those things where unless you know the song and you listen to it outside of it, when you listen to the album front to back, you're like, oh, when did the last song end? When did the new song start? All sounds the same.
Dennis Rodman on Mansions is the best feature of all time, dude.
It is. Oh my god! All right, number 3 is where is it? Why can't I find it? I don't know how the alphabet works. Hold on.
Black Bear is such a confusing artist to me. I must be honest.
There it is. Yeah. So I've been on like a Mike Posner I'll say like mental realignment. This is what I do. You know this. I go through my waves. It always starts at like a Mike Posner Max kind of thing. It'll turn into Panic and Fob, and then it turns into Offspring, Set It Off, Falling in Reverse, new stuff, and then I just kind of like meander for a bit and don't feel like listening to music, and then it starts over. So I'm back in the beginning. I was listening to Mike Posner today, but we're talking about Mansions, a joint album between Mike Posner and Black Bear when he was at his peak right before getting sober. Mike Posner, to me, his discography is also not spotty, but kind of like the middle's really good between like this one, You're a Good Kid, You're a Real Good Kid, and Keep Going. But then there's like Operation Wake Up, his newer stuff that feels like a weird crack dream. And then his older stuff that feels like it belongs in 2005 and it should stay there. This is, I don't know, man. I'm waiting for Mansions 2 to see if this was really like they're this great duo that can really mesh well together in the studio and makes great stuff like this, or if this was just like they happened to get together for a bit and wound up making something amazing. Black Bear for me is the same situation as Mike. His early career is kind of iffy, not super into the whole super drunk, super drugged up vibe. and then his newer stuff, he made like a punk album last year, and it was really bad. This poor guy. But this is good, man. Songs that really stand out to me. This is 2017. It's an album I've come back to probably yearly. A Million Miles has a really weird spoken word thing at the end, where it's just kind of like they like fuck with the audio of the guy talking, and they like they modulate his voice in it. I don't know, but that's the best part of the album. I'm thinking about Horses again, is spoken word, but he's just talking about horses, man. How they
about horses, man.
They don't kill people because they know that you'll feed them and give them a dependable meal, so they let you live. They let you ride them and take advantage of them.
Fun fact is, you know that Black Bear's from Daytona Beach. I didn't know that.
Is he really?
He's from Florida. Yep. He's from Florida, and then Mike Posner.
Detroit.
He's from Detroit.
He went to college with Big Sean.
Who would have fucking thought, dude?
Right?
Crazy.
It's so. Have you ever seen the videos of them on stage together? It's the funniest thing because it doesn't make any sense.
Hey, bro, I seen you in college, man. I'm just looking at the related artist pages, and I'm just like, it's like Apple just didn't know what to do, so they just put a bunch of different people.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like Black Bear, MGK, they're friends. Hoodie Allen doesn't make sense being up there. G-Eazy's on the album, so it all makes sense. But I think my favorite song has to be "Shut the Fuck Up."
It's a mood. But I'll give it a listen because I keep seeing you listen to this, so I think I'll definitely add it for the archive. Maybe I'll pop it in.
That to me, that's a 10 out of 10 album that I'm always coming back to.
Tomorrow's a white boy morning because apparently I gotta listen to Mansions and then Jack Harlow.
Jack Harlow. So Mansions to me is a 10 out of 10 because maybe it's an emotional attachment thing, and I love the album. Man in the Woods, Justin Timberlake, I was listening to it today, is the polar opposite. How do you go from the highs? And this is only because we talked about the 2020 experience, I think, in the last SnackTime we did.
Yeah.
How do you go from the high of this 2020 experience, this crazy like 2-3 year long tour, to this?
It's a lot going on with this one. I mean, listen.
It's all over the place, man. He's a pop star, and he's trying to be like, oh, look, I'm from the South. Don't you think I know that I'm from the South? I'm going to mesh the two styles together. Me and my Disney roots and my Southern draw.
It's very abstract. It's very abstract. I think that's the thing you have to take away with this. That doesn't mean that it's the best, but yeah, I do agree. It's a mess. I
applaud him for doing something different.
I do like Filthy, and I do like the
Filthy's good.
Track. But Say Something featuring Chris Stapleton, not bad either.
Say something.
The rest of the album's just completely unlistenable. I was so offended. I just went back to Future Sex and Love Sound. I was like, this is bullshit.
Because that's a great album. How did the same guy make this 10 years later? How did that happen?
I don't know.
And then now look at that. All the clapback from this album, and Hobie has done nothing but like small movie orchestrations and like trolls for the last 5-6 years.
Hey man, it pays the bills, you know.
I mean, yeah, I'm not. I'm just hoping he puts out something that isn't a 3 out of 10.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, buddy, that's just the pop world that we live in. It's so unpredictable and a lot of times over manufactured. And in this case,
yes,
it was. It wasn't manufactured. It was actually the opposite of manufactured. It's like he had nobody at the wheel with him.
Yeah. They just kind of let him go too much and wound up biting him in the ass.
Let him run too much. Double Fantasy.
Right. The Weeknd.
Future. So I was heavily anticipating this. Again, also, The Weeknd has 4 new singles coming out with Mike Dean tonight, which Mike Dean's having his own album come out, I believe.
You were talking about that last week.
But right now, we're focusing on Double Fantasy. This was released last week, and unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to talk about it in my review because I actually forgot to add it.
Oh, no. So you sound like you're about to be disappointed.
Yeah, it's not that good. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. It doesn't feel like there was a lot of effort. Like, don't get me wrong. It sounds like there's effort in the song. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of cool parts to it, and I think it's very, like, synthy, but it's like, it's just not...
Well, to be honest, dude,
he's been running on this for, like, 3 albums, man, and it's just, like, I'm kind of tired of the sound already. I'm going to be honest, because, like, After Hours was cool because it was still like, it was basically like if he took his first album and then just like put it with like 80s influences and stuff like that. You take the second album, it was like just strict early 80s, late 70s disco. Like it was cool. Like you took the idea, you expanded upon it.
Yeah.
This one, it feels like you're tripling down on it. Double fantasy on a triple down bullshit. I don't know. I gotta be honest. I'm just not really the
That was
biggest
good.
fan of it. It's cool. Thank you. It's just, and here's the thing, right? So like, it starts with this like long synthy interlude, which I thought was like, oh, that is great. I was like, I'm so excited. And then he just gets into the lyrics, and I'm like, his vocal performance doesn't really get me that excited. You know, it kind of just sounds like unenergetic. And then you have like Future rapping over like this 808 drum machine, and it's kind of cool, but it's like, I don't know. Again, like everything.
So why are you chewing it into the mic, man?
I don't know. That's how upset it makes me, man.
Oh, this man is getting real sleepy. I see it in your eyes.
Yeah.
That 6 a.m. shift is not being good to you, huh?
No, I'm not like dead tired. I'm just like mental energy. You know what I mean? Like the slope
I
is
know
starting
exactly
to
how
go down.
you feel, man. You hit a certain point and it's jumping off a cliff.
Exactly. So I'm okay
10
though.
o'clock. Good luck with that.
Well, yeah, I've been rocking with that, dude. I ain't gonna
8 p.m., bro. You got the 6 a.m. shift. You go to bed at 8 p.m. You feel like a brand new man.
I felt okay at 10. I don't know. I was spiteful. I wanted to play GTA, but we'll talk about
That's
it
fair.
later.
That's fair.
Back to the review. So overall, what do I think? This obviously was just a theme song, or not theme song, a theming track, like on the soundtrack for his show.
Can't take away too
Idols
much
on
from the
HBO.
show.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm feeling a light mid on this one. It's pretty mid.
A light bit.
A light mid. Sorry,
Okay.
Abel. I love you, but this wasn't the best one. I'm sorry. But then we go up to No More Lies.
What is this cover?
Thundercat and Tam Impala.
They're just vibing.
Yeah, they just be running and shit. So, Thundercat, amazing bassist, funk legend in the modern age. Fucking love this guy, dude. You ever see Thundercat, just watch him perform bass, bro. He basically performs the bass, it's guitar. Super cool guy. He has some notable songs that you might know, like Changes and stuff like that. I'm sure if I played him, you'd know.
Oh, I'm sure.
Tame Impala, indie legend. Tame Impala's one guy. That's the classic joke in a Tame Impala fan base, apparently. I'm so hip, right? But anyway.
You sound so spiteful. Oh my god.
So, No More Lies. They finally collabed together on this. I mean, I'm pretty sure they've worked on other songs before this, but I always thought they did, but then I think I saw an interview saying that this is the first song that Thundercats ever worked with Kevin on for a song. I gotta say, it's pretty fucking vibey, dude. Like, it's cool. Like, their style is just, it's funny how
They mesh together well.
like Kevin's more like psychedelic and like atmospheric, more like rock bass, where again Thundercat's more like funk and R&B bass. So having to come together, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. It's smooth. It's not offensive. It's
It's
smooth.
like butter.
You know, you got these nice little bass lines from Thundercat. You got these cool ass fucking chill keys, and then the lyrics and the singing. Like, they have good vocal chemistry together too. So overall, I'm waiting on the collab album on this one. So should be a fun time.
Collab albums need to happen more often.
Shout out Kevin. Shout out Thundercat. Let's go. Got two more here in the chamber.
Two more in the chamber.
Quavo. This just makes me think that Quavo's the weakest Migo. Gotta be honest, man. Gotta be honest, man. Nah. It's actually it's a pretty good song. It's not like something I can come back to, though, I'll be honest. Like, anytime Quavo comes out with a single, I'm like, oh, that was cool. All right, let's go listen to Kelly Price.
Let's go do anything else.
Like, dude, like, I love the First Culture. I'm that guy. Love the First Culture.
Now there's three of them.
I like that recent tape before RIP to Take Off, Only Built for Infinity Links. That was a fantastic. I actually really like that album from last year. Kind of ended off the album. Ended off both Takeoff's life and in the year on a good hip hop note. Yeah. Man, I miss that dude guy. I miss him. I really do. Like, legitimately, because like it kind of sucks. Because I'll be honest, like, the one thing I can't negate is the fact that the Migos weren't really on the strongest streak, and they were all kind of doing their own thing. But I think a lot of people did agree that Takeoff was like really like in his bag and like one of the best, like, especially in debates, like, he's probably one of the better rappers. That's not to take away from Offset or Quavo. That's just a fan opinion. But nonetheless, it seems like in this song that Quavo seems pretty offended and hurt by everything that's been happening.
Yeah.
Because he had a song before this too, I'm pretty sure, where he kind of vents a bit more about it. Again, it's not like it's anything groundbreaking, but again, I could feel the emotion in what he's talking about and how, yeah, he does feel, again, some forms of guilt from the situations prior, especially unfortunately that happened last year with Houston. But at the end of the day, Quavo, hope to see you develop more of a solo career for sure.
Hopefully.
Last one thing at a time. Morgan Wallen. Now, here's the thing. Not really much of a country guy. Shout out my friend Ben for showing me Morgan Wallen last year.
Born with a beer in my hand. That is a...
How fucking hillbilly could you get?
That's quite the title.
So I briefly skimmed over Dangerous, the double album, which was excuse me, which was his 2021 album, his sophomore album. A lot of people like it, his debut, If I Know Me, which I know my sister does because she loves all of his songs and albums and everything. But understand one thing, I'm not really a big country guy, ever, at all. And I heard a song from him, I don't know if it's on this album, maybe it is. I gotta double check here. Thinking About Me is a great song, I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, it's not here, but I listened to a song from him called You Prove, and it doesn't look like that it's a direct single on this album. But it kind of introduced me, like, because Morgan Wallen apparently has this reputation within the country world that you can't do trap drums and pop drums and mix the country with the pop. And
yes, you can.
It's every genre, dude. You can, and if people like it, people like
genres.
it. If people hate it, they hate it. Who gives a shit? Stop.
You'll still find your fan base.
Yeah, and for Morgan, that's top 10 Billboard songs. So sorry, but
hasn't his album been like #1 on and off for months?
Yeah, he's had a couple singles actually rotate within the top 10. So I mean, good for him.
So he knows what he's doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm listening through and like he's actually pretty good. Like he's a pretty decent. He's a pretty decent personality. I mean, take away the situation he was like in 3 or 4 years ago that I can't talk about
that yesterday.
We can't talk. Can't talk about that one, but jokes aside, I mean, I think I'm not gonna get into it with that because it's just too much. But we're talking about the music here, and I will say I was decently impressed. Born with a Beer in My Hand is actually a pretty decent opener. Last night's like played like on every fucking country radio because it sounded familiar when I'm in the car with my sister. Last night we had a day. Like I hear that melody so much.
You're like, oh, did I hear this in 35 other country songs already?
Man Made a Bar featuring Eric Church. Eric Church is such a good vocalist, man. Good for him. Fantastic writing on that song. And as you kind of go through it, like it's typical country banter and stuff, with tracks like Ain't That Someone and Tennessee Numbers. Whiskey Friends is great. He has a song dedicated to an F-150.
Dude, this is 35 songs.
It's
36 songs?
I just had it playing while I was on the scrubber all
Oh my God.
But then you get to like some of the trap each songs, like I love Think About Me. Do yourself a favor. I think I'll send it to you, but I think you'll definitely like Thinking About Me because it's kind of a vibe, The hook is just too catchy. Have you thinking about me? Have you thinking about me? I think he has a really good ear for like, especially for hooks, because I've noticed within his songwriting, like he really, he's a pop artist, obviously, so of course he's going to drive into that, but he really knows how to make a sticky hook. I think that's the one thing I've noticed about him that is very intriguing to me because
earworms.
Because he's the literal epitome of don't bore us, get to the chorus. And again, I don't know this guy too much, obviously. It sounds like when he sings about certain things, it's obviously hard, But at the end of the day, it's like it's just that type of writing. And I think overall, I'd probably give it like a 6.5. It's a bit of a bloated track list. But
a little bit. 36, there's no way that you're going to have. Can't
deny he's a talented guy. I like Dangerous a bit better, though, in my opinion. I would have given Dangerous like a 7.5.
He's a talented guy. Can't deny.
I haven't listened to If I Know Me, But yeah, I think Dangerous is his best album. One Thing at a Time is still a decent entry, but I think Dangerous had a bit more to offer.
All right.
And I think that wraps up our reviews for the week.
Yes, it does. Let's get into the
main topic of today's episode. After what has it been, like an hour at this point?
Yeah, hour change. Let's talk top 5 anticipated movies of the summer. So basically, we've talked about it before, but we're going to talk about it again. We have like a little timeline for the podcast, right? And as we move into the summer months, really starts with May, June. It is all movies all the time. All movies, all tier lists, all reviews, all everything. So we figured, how are we going to kick that off? With the movies that we're looking forward to the most. To me, well, hi, Karma. These are movies that come out before September. To me, this is like from now until the end of August. And it's just, 5 movies that you're looking forward to the most. You don't got to be super artsy about it and say like, oh, I'm looking forward to this movie that's only going to come out in Japan from June 3rd until June 15th. Because I know all of mine are fucking popular blockbuster movies, but that's fine because I'm excited about them.
I'm loosely excited for some of these, some more than others. The only reason we're watching though is because gotta be open minded. I might look at something that might not like it, so.
That's fine. That's the whole point.
Let's just trade back and forth on a couple. I think.
All right.
Firstly,
give me your number 5.
I think. Oh, so you want to do in terms of a ranking with that? Okay. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 1 will just be the one you're most excited for.
So I think, one of the ones that's really been catching my eye so far has definitely been Sisu.
Dude, we're the fucking same. That's my number 5.
Yeah, because again,
I'm gonna go see that next week.
Obviously, Lionsgate is capitalizing on John Wick.
On John Wick.
So, what is your name? Sisu. I see this.
It just
every
looks like a
fucking
bloody
time.
gory mess.
It looks so fun though. The
But it
concept,
looks
I
so good.
believe, is
He's killing Nazis.
I believe it's a Polish guy, right? Is it?
I don't know. He finds gold. He has to make his way across.
During the last desperate days of World War II, a solitary prospector, Tomiya, crosses paths with Nazis on a scorched earth retreat in northern Finland. So I suppose he's essentially trying to take his gold back, but then the Nazis are trying to take his gold. Like, get away from my gold, Sisu.
Touch.
This looks like a very fun action because it's such a simple concept. I believe I saw the trailer and I was like, he's just a simple farmer guy. Just fucking stabs people in the head. Like, Jesus Christ, guy. So,
it looks great.
It looks fantastic. Number 5 is your Sisu. All right.
Yes.
So then,
number 5 is Sisu. We're the exact same.
So number 4. I think number 4 for me definitely lies within Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
I really liked the first one. I felt like
First one is so good.
Spider-Verse in general is just an interesting concept because you were able to bring together so many Spider-Man, I guess what you would call elsewhere concepts to the table. And I think Miles is a great protagonist overall.
He's got a lot of charisma between him and Gwen.
Oh, very much so. It's
A lot of good going on.
Nice little love story going on, And I just love the animation style, dude.
There's a lot of variety in the animation style,
It's so
which I know it was like a
colorful
big point of the first one.
And the motion, it's almost like motion stop, but not. It's interesting.
So it's also like a little blocky shaded. Feels like a comic book.
Exactly. So after reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood, Spider-Man is catapulted across the multiverse. So he's going to the multiverse.
Yep.
And kind of keeping up with that Marvel aesthetic of let's just try different characters from different universes.
Exactly.
But this one,
there's so much IP to grab
they'll do it
off
pretty
of.
right though. I think they've already kind of established that. So yeah. All right. So what's your number 4, kiddo? What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Barbie.
Shit.
I was telling Timmy, dude, I'm so excited for the Barbie the Barbie Oppenheimer double feature. That's gonna be so great. Dude, what can I say? This movie, when they first announced it, I was like, nah, they can't fucking do this. They're gonna make Barbie into a movie. It's gonna be bad. Then they were like, oh look, Margot Robbie's here with Ryan Gosling. I was like, that makes total fucking sense. Okay.
I was gonna say Ryan Gosling looks pretty good as Ken. Pause.
He does. And then you and now you look at the cast. It's like this all-star studded cast. They're leading completely into the fact that it's a ridiculous concept for a movie, but they're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Based on the trailers, I'm totally fucking here for it.
Which is fine. Have a little fun with it, you know. Could
Exactly.
Be good.
Not
Could
everything
be
needs
good.
to be the end of the universe and the multiverse fucking smashing together. Sometimes you could just have
a goofy little time.
exactly a goofy little time with some really weird makeup choices.
Dude, don't get me
But
started.
that is my
I mean,
my
I get
number 4.
yeah. It kind of reminds me of like the Cat in the Hat makeup artistry.
Yes, that is the vibe I get from this. It's the Cat in the Hat, only less nightmare fuel and more. Oh, look, it's pink.
Number 3 for me is Elemental. I think I saw the I'm always a sucker for a good Pixar movie, and this is no different.
Yeah.
And I think I told you that this very
I
much
clicked
reminds
on
me
the
of the
wrong one.
concept of Inside Out, you know. It's
Yes.
like, but I kind of like this direction that because Pixar has definitely been going more of an abstract position
Yeah,
the past
and the
couple
animation
years,
looks really
especially.
cute.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I was gonna say too. It's not like because I felt like at a certain point, Pixar was just going for like the most photorealistic shit,
Yeah,
and now it's
Toy
kind of like
Story
going
and-
back to more of like a again abstract, creative animation style. Like if
Yeah.
you see like this water dude, I don't know his name, but
The water dude and the fire chick.
oh well, okay, I guess the girl's like named Ember, and then the
Oh,
what's the guy's name? I don't even it doesn't
Wade.
say. Wade. Wade's like I think Wade, the way he moves and like the way that she like burns and shit, like the way that things move are just like very
Yeah,
different.
it gives life to the world that they're trying to build. It's not just like, oh, look, she's kind of fiery, but she moves like a glob.
Well, I mean that's what Wade does, but it's kind of like
Oh yeah,
again,
but he's water. That's the point.
no, but you just have to see the video to know what I'm talking about. But I think we're
All right,
kind of I
whatever.
think we're echoing the same thing though. It's just
Yes, we are. If
it's a
this is something you
it's a
want to
different
see,
feeling.
A-list is my finesse. I will be there.
Yeah, buddy. Okay.
My
What's,
number 3 is not to tread water. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, let's
I'm
go.
hyped for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. The first
Mm.
one was great. Honestly, I forgot this movie was coming out up until a couple weeks ago. And I like the fact that we really don't know too much about the story. They're really not giving anything away. They're just like, look, Spider-Man's back. Oh, look, there's more Spider-Man. Oh, look, here's the meme.
That's true. That's true.
I'm here for it, dude. It looks like a lot of fun.
It's very self-aware.
Yes,
taking a
exactly.
series, you know.
And it's
So-
a lot of little things. Like when the mom snaps, there's like a Puerto Rican flag that flashes for a hot second. You're like, it's little things like that. You're like, oh, look.
Puerto
There's a lot of
Rican
character.
mommy. Hell yeah.
All right.
dude.
Not to
Now number 2.
harp too much. Number 2, what is yours?
Number 2 for me. This is actually going to
Burger
sound
King
pretty.
food lettuce.
Actually, nah, it's not really no big surprise for me. Flash. Listen.
Dude,
I
we're
think-
the fucking same. Yes.
I think listen, this is supposed to be the new DC universe. I'm curious to see where
Yeah.
it goes. So I can't help but just think, because like I'm seeing all these other movies, right? Like you see
Yeah.
Big George Foreman, which looks like another cool biopic again, because apparently those do pretty well. I haven't really seen some of these other trailers, like Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, or any like I've seen them loosely in the theaters, but I haven't seen enough of them to really remember or feel like I care.
Yeah.
And I'm not a horror movie guy, so the Boogeyman, although I will go see, like it's not like I'm
Fuck
so
that.
excited. So the Flash, I'm definitely excited to see a good superhero movie.
Dude,
I'm definitely excited to see Michael Keaton make his return, and of
he
course,
looks so strange in that suit.
very much so. He kind of looks perverted, but I will say,
Oh my god.
listen, for what you think about Mr. Miller, or I'm sorry, not Mr.
the guinea
Excuse me,
pigs are
let me
squeaking.
fix that. Just
Ezra.
Ezra, but
Dude, that's
No.
why I'm so excited about this movie. I'm
Should be
so
interesting.
curious. How are they going to do it? Ezra hasn't been in any of the whatever that they've been talking about, any of the press. This movie honestly looks so good. James Gunn is like, this is the best superhero movie I've ever seen. How are they going to do it? Are they really going to stick the landing after this individual was like in prison and like grooming people and
Yeah,
robbing people at knife point?
it's a lot.
How are they going to really be like 10 out of 10 movie? Drop the mic. How the fuck are they going to do it? Are they really going to stick the landing? Or is it all going to be hype and then the movie's going to be really, really, really bad?
shit, what a way to go out, right? I mean, I
It'd
don't
be
know.
great.
I've heard some early opinions that seems pretty positive. So.
That it's phenomenal and it's the best thing since The Dark Knight.
Okay, so for number 1, I don't think it's any surprise. We'll say it on 3. Okay, ready?
What is
Three.
it? Wait, what are you going to say?
It's just let's see. 3.
We're not going to say the same thing. I promise.
3, 2,
2, 1.
1. The Little Mermaid.
Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
No, I'm just kidding. I was going for Guardians. Transformers. What?
Really? No.
I had you for a second. No,
You
dude,
did.
fuck.
No,
Guardians, man. Come on. You know
whatever,
I'm a Guardians fanboy, bro.
I know, and that's
Guardians
why you
are
know
my
I'm not.
favorite like IP from Marvel. Next to like, if I had to say my top 3 Marvel IPs, it's Guardians. Excuse me. Oh my god, my back. Let me compute. Let me compute.
Oh god.
It's Guardians, Iron Man, and freaking
Thor. Maybe no Captain America.
Captain America. Captain America movies are great. Gotta say, top 3, man.
Cap movies are 3 for 3. Thor movies are like 1.5 for 4.
Yeah. I mean, you got Ragnarok. That was an interesting time.
And the first one is okay.
But yeah, Guardians Volume 3. I mean, honestly, what else is there to say? I love the color palette. I'm very excited because I believe, you know, excuse me.
Rocket's gonna die.
Wow.
Drax is gonna die.
Yeah, Gamora's gonna be gone too. So, you know, I mean, it's gonna be kind of like, I don't know, I'll be honest, like Gamora was just a love interest that, like, frankly, she did a great job, but it's not like a make or break for me at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, this is a James Gunn directed film.
It's his last Marvel one before he goes all DC.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, again, I guess it goes to show that, at least in my initial impression, which is probably why I'm so excited for The Flash, is because I just know that if I like his direction style here, I would hope to at least see that it'll translate to the newer movies to come. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes down.
I gotta be honest, man. I don't like Guardians 2. Guardians 3, I'm excited only really because it's a Marvel movie. I want to see if they can fix their track record because, you know, as we've talked about, their last couple of years have been
what's your
shoddy.
I mean, genuinely, like, what was your biggest issue with Volume 2?
Oh, dude, I don't remember. I just know that I'm not someone that loves Guardians 2. And I also don't believe that Guardians 1 is top 5.
Damn.
Maybe like number 11 or 10, but it's not the best thing that I've ever seen since sliced bread. But you know what I can tell you will be the best thing I've seen since sliced bread? Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
Yeah.
Hold on, I can't type it. So,
my God, man.
Listen, man, this is not new. I've loved Transformers since I was like 4 or 5. I've been following this movie since T7 was announced like 5 years ago. I was there when they were filming it, and I was watching all the photos. I remember when the first trailer came out, and Optimus's mouth looked horrible. I remember it all. Yeah. And I'm excited for more. This is the first time in live action, besides Bumblebee, where we're getting like, oh, look, these are Cybertron accurate things, but they're expanding on it. We got the Maximals and the fucking the Predacons, and maybe we'll have like a G1 version Megatron show it off and do it as fucking thing. And Unicron? This is the best part of that trailer. You just got comic accurate Unicron in the sky trying to eat the planet, dude. It looks amazing. Will it be bad? Probably. There's like,
from what people have been saying,
there's like 2.5 good movies out of these now 7 movies. Mm-hmm. Most of them are bad. God, bad is the wrong word. Most of them are subpar.
I think
hopefully this is not bad.
I would make the argument that a lot of the points of what you're making is definitely bias, which isn't a bad thing.
125%. It's complete bias.
But that's like me with Guardians. Like, I just have such a bias.
Hey, that's fair. That is why that's your number one.
I think that's what really pushes that, you know? I mean, because you have such a connection. And that, again, that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's like me with Drake albums. Like, I always find a reason to like it. It's like you with Eminem albums. You find some fucking reason to like it. Or Transformers is no different. Yeah, exactly. You know, but you know what? That's just to talk about fandom, which we had a snack time about. Go check it out. But
that's right.
But you know what? I'll level with you. And again, I mean, we're kind of introducing each other to a lot of new things. Like, you're introducing me to, reintroducing me to Fast and Transformers, and we're gonna get into Harry Potter at some point because now they got this fucking Harry Potter show coming out. I gotta check that out.
I know it's coming.
So it's an interesting exchange, and I think it's funny to get these opposite perspectives. But then again, like, there's things that I'm under. Like, I get a visual into your psyche as to why you like certain things, and then I actually find that some things I do like. So it should be interesting.
Dude, the cast too. You got Peter Dinklage, Michelle Yeoh. Crazy.
Should be a good time. What, Peter Dinklage is the movie? Oh my god.
Yeah, he's one of the villains.
Hey, let's go. Okay, that might redeem it. We'll see.
Okay. So that
we're getting Stubbs Pass today and the fucking journey.
Yes, sir. We're gonna go see Bo is Afraid. I think on Sunday. That 3-hour movie.
You have good ideas, Magic Man. Maybe I might catch a matinee show. I might do that. I don't know. I'm off on
we will
Sunday.
see. But all in all, that has been 52.
Yeah, man. It's crazy.
It's a lot of them. You know what comes next, right?
Yeah. Reunion episode. Should be a fun time.
That's right. It's coming. It's coming.
Brennan, our original podcast
Our original member of the trio. He's we were talking to him today. Plans are set.
It's coming. We're making the plans. We got the date.
That's right.
So be on the lookout for that. Have you ever heard my friend Goole?
No, I haven't.
Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Did I say YouTube? We are on YouTube.
We got a YouTube.
Please make sure to go subscribe. We have shorts, clips, content, full episodes of videos, and as well as check Apple Podcasts and Spotify for all full audio streams as well.
Yeah.
What else is there to add into that? Make sure to check out the gaming channel. We've been doing some Zombies Bonanzas to bring us up to the summertime. We're almost, well, actually, no.
No,
would you say we're getting not even close to halfway?
We
still,
have
but
ready.
We're making our way through.
Here's the entire timeline because we already know what it is. World War II, we have to finish.
Damn, I thought we were finished.
Advanced Warfare, Exo Zombies.
Oh shit.
Black Ops 3, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, World at War, Cold War. There's still a lot. Well, most of them, it's all going to be the same, where we play like one map, and that'll be it.
You know, this kind of feels like this.
Except for Cold War.
Feels like this Joey Diaz quote I heard, or like it was like a motivational thing where he's like, "It's going to be a rough couple of months, cocksuckers."
Well, you know, we could also take a break. We could just do like a break, like halfway in, and then just pick up with the zombies come the fall.
Do you have like pet squealing or something?
Yes, okay. It's the guinea pigs. They're very hungry.
I didn't know if that was my house. That's why. See, these mics are so sensitive. Sometimes you don't know. But
those girls.
No. Well, we have to finish.
We'll see.
It. I want to make it a prerogative because I heard
we're having a lot of fun doing it.
It is fun though. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I thought I was gonna like World War II and actually had a blast with that. So
it was actually a lot of fun. Very cool.
It's not right for me to be like, oh, like I don't want to try it. So
yeah. Just wait till we get to World at War, bro. We'll go from World at War to Cold War. It'll be like a fucking 180.
What do the people miss, Miguel? What do we?
Let's see. Today's Monday. Happy Monday. You missed last week on Friday. We had SnackTime, the ultimate Metallica tier list. We talked about it for a couple weeks. We finally did it. We had a lot of very, very passionate opinions. We got into talked about it for about 45, 50 minutes. Usually SnackTime's about half that time, but you know what? We had a lot of fun doing it, so we hope you listen and have a laugh. It is also our first video with an official made thumbnail. We put in the work, put in the effort, looked at it, and I think it came out pretty damn good. So check that out. Link is in the bio. Before that, we had episode 51. Frank Ocean pulls out, and Walmart goes autonomous.
Pulls out of what?
It's still such a great title. Frank Ocean pulled out of Coachella. Walmart's going autonomous to get rid of people's germs. And to be honest, I don't remember off the top of my head what we talked about. I know it was a lot of Fast and the Furious, but that tier list is coming too. Lastly, before that, we had Snack Time, the Mandalorian Season 3 review, where we did our favorite thing, and we pissed off Star Wars fans. So all of it again, link below. Give it a listen. Tell your friends. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Lastly, after the snacks and the episodes and the whatever, the gaming channel, by the time you listen to this, we should be done with Vanguard.
Yep. It's been a good time.
It's been a good time. I built a Wunderwaffe.
Yes.
Successfully.
We got the Wunderwaffe. Each of us got to try it. We had a magical demon lady follow us around. I think she likes me.
Yeah, she did. She loves me.
Yeah. I think that's about it.
I think that's about it. Thank you for joining us on our. Usually when we record this episode, it's like 11 o'clock and we're like high energy screaming. We're both tired boys.
We've been up. Say the classic saying with me. We've been up since 4:30.
Been up since 4:30. That's right. That's right. Even on the day off. But anyway,
but it's a good
thanks
episode.
For listening.
Thank you for listening. And
goodbye.